Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we'll be doing a full breakdown on White Mage's job changes and additions coming in Endwalker. This information is fresh out of the latest media tour, which I had the privilege of attending, but bear in mind that everything in this video is still subject to change before Endwalker's release. Also included is a playlist in both the description and from clicking the little eye in the top right corner that will have all of my Endwalker job change videos. With that, let's get started. For White Mage, the job is going to be feeling very similar to the way it does now, just with a few notable upgrades or changes. Everything up to level 80 is mostly the same, minus a few things such as Fluid Aura being axed after all these expansions, rip Fluid Aura. There's also some potency changes, but those aren't final yet because it's Media Tour build, not to mention the change in damage calculations and the stat squish. I just don't want to get hung up on potencies for very long. I will say that some healing potencies went up, like Afflatus Rapture, and I noticed Glares was brought down, but that really won't matter after we talk about the rest of this video. There are some changes to existing skills though. Presence of Mind had its cooldown lowered to 2 minutes, thank goodness for that. Thin Air was also pretty significantly changed. It now has 2 charges with a 60-second charge time as opposed to its old 2-minute recast. However, it now only lasts for a single spell use. So that means you won't be Thin Air Cure 3 spamming anymore, but you can more strategically use the skill, maybe save it for a resurrection during progression rating, or still use it on those Cure 3s. It's an interesting trade-off, and we'll see how it's used. I also want to remind you that single target DPS skills for healers did have their cast times lowered across the board, basically all matching Astro's Malefic from Shadowbringers. Them Glares will only be a 1.5 second cast at base spell speed, still with the 2.5 second GCD. That gives you a whole second to move or weave other skills more cleanly than before. For White Mages, it also means Presence of Mind turns you into an actual glare machine gun. Yeah, you don't technically get more glares out of it than you would with the previous iteration, but it's still going to look pretty cool. Holy, on the other hand, is still going to be the full cast duration. Sorry. So for the new skills, they're pretty straightforward on White Mage. At level 82, Glare and Holy will upgrade to their newer forms, currently named Glare and Holy 3, not 2. Remember, nothing is final. That might change by the time the full game releases. At level 86, White Mages will get Aqua Veil, which reduces the damage taken by the target of the spell by 15% for 8 seconds on a 1-minute cooldown. This is a slightly larger damage reduction than Astro's equivalent spell, Exaltation, but without the bonus heal effect they get on theirs. White Mage's new capstone skill at level 90 is Lilybell. This allows you to place a Lilybell on the field, which will give the White Mage 5 stacks of the Lilybell buff. Every time the White Mage takes damage, the Lilybell will pulse a sizable AoE heal from its location to restore health to you and the party. If the White Mage is hit enough times to use all of the stacks, the Lilybell will dissipate. If you have any stacks left over when the Lilybell's timer finishes naturally, a weaker heal will occur relative to the number of stacks you have left. More stacks left over means a bigger final heal, but you really want to be using all the stacks. As for their traits, the level 82 ones are probably obvious to most. They upgrade Glare and Holy to those new levels. The level 85 one enhances the potency of a bunch of White Mage's heals. This is actually a running theme for pretty much every job in the expansion, getting potency buffs like halfway through the level 80 to 90 process. Finally is Enhanced Divine Benison, which simply raises the skill to have 2 charges instead of 1. Oh, and I guess Magic and Mend had its terminology updated to be Maim and Mend, like the DPS jobs, but that's not that significant. All in all, White Mage is very samey to Shadowbringers, no surprise given their statement of building upon what they did to the jobs in said expansion. Based on that, it will still very likely remain a Glare Mage, just with another Benison charge and those Lilybells stacked on top. I'm curious to see how this works out when stacked against the other healers, especially Astrologian. Unfortunately, Media Tour doesn't give us great ways of seeing how the game expects us to use these new tools, and with the potencies not being final, it's just tough to call. I will say that a lot of the Astro heals are similar potencies, but the current iterations of some of those skills are actually pretty nutty. I'm looking forward to talking about that in that video. Definitely be sure to check out that Astro video to see just how White Mage stacks up against it according to the Media Tour build. Remember, still subject to change. And that's going to be a wrap for my overview on the new White Mage changes coming to Endwalker. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and check out all of the Media Tour videos in the playlist. With that though, move on to the next one. What are you waiting for? I'll see you in that one. And until then, take care.